Welcome to the second episode of the
Yeah.
Business Podcast, and we've got our first guest. Welcome, Jack, to the podcast.
Cheers, lads. Thanks for having us.
No problem. So we want to ask you, who are you, and tell us a bit about your journey and everything.
Yeah, good. So, Jack, I run an e-com agency called ProspaMedia. So we do kind of 3 core services, paid social, paid search and retention marketing for mainly fashion, D2C brands. So I've been running for it'll be 4 years in May. I've got a team of about 15 of us now based out of Media City in Manchester. So
That's pretty impressive.
it's been good. It's gone quick. It's gone quick, to be fair. I'd say it's 4 years. It's gone in a flash, but yeah, it's been good. Really enjoyable. And obviously, we've got a really good team now, operating about 40 different clients across those services. So it's been a good journey so far.
Yeah, cool. What kind of brought you into the industry? How did you actually start? Because I kind of did see a bit online that you kind of started it from your bedroom at uni.
Yeah, well, we kind of fell into it. So I started the agency with my friend Sam, literally right at the start of lockdown. We were at uni together at the time, me and Josh. Obviously went home. That's kind of the same time you started.
Yeah.
JH, wasn't it, as well?
Yeah, rough times then.
Yeah.
But good times at the same time.
So we kind of just fell into it. Sam was in a sales role at the time, and we were doing like a business management degree. There was a bit of marketing in there. I mean, I've not really used much of it, but and then we knew a couple lads a couple of years above us from the same school. They were doing it as well, but they were doing mentorship as well. So we just kind of decided to go with them. Did about a year of mentorship with them, and it just kind of kicked us off. So really fell into it, to be honest with you. But just due to COVID, e-commerce was booming, and it kind of grew at a much quicker rate than it already was.
Good time to be in it at that point, wasn't it?
Perfect time to start, really, just because there was a lot of brands being founded as well in that time. A lot, obviously, all online as well, just due to the physical side. No stores were open, were they? So yeah, it was perfect time. And then again, because of Sam's sales experience, we managed to pick up clients quite quickly. So that really helped us get going quickly. And then kind of just grew from that. Sam quit his job maybe 6 months after starting.
He moved in with us, didn't he?
I don't know if that was the best thing for him.
That was an experience, jeez.
And then I was supposed to do a placement. I just cancelled that and then finished uni. And then, we moved to Manchester, didn't we? Just before we finished. So
best decision ever.
About 3 years from now, really, wasn't it? So.
Yeah, best decision ever. What's it like managing? You said 14, 15 people, and like I said, you're only 20. You're only 26. So, and obviously you manage a lot of people that are obviously older than you as well. So what's that been like?
I'm 25. You're 20.
Oh yeah. I'm trying to blend it in with me.
It's been challenging, to be honest with you, but it's been really enjoyable. I think we've got such a good team now, and again, a lot around my age. There's a few older than me now, but again, because we've got a really clear vision of what we want to build, and, and obviously we've taken it very seriously from the start. Rachel, she's been with us now it'll be getting on for nearly 3 years. So, she's seen it grow from when it was literally just me and Sam to what it is now. But it has been challenging. But I think because we've got a really clear vision, clear mission, and a really good culture as well, that makes it easier because everyone's really bought into it.
Yeah.
And see what we're doing every day.
Yeah. What is that mission? What is that vision?
So the mission, kind of rewrote it recently. It's really to help 7-figure e-commerce brands scale through financially driven marketing, and I think that's where we've kind of differed most recently. Is we're using a lot more financials and a lot more data from things like the P&L, for instance, to grow brands rather than just looking at things like ROAS and stuff like that. We're taking a much more holistic and top level view. And the vision for us is to build the next generation of 7-figure e-commerce brands.
Nice. What would you say? I mean, like I said, you've been running it for still 3-4 years. It's a long time, but it's not a long time in reality. What would you say is your biggest struggle or biggest obstacles that you faced so far?
Probably leads, to be honest with you, and making sure that we're changing the type of brands that we want to go after. Because obviously that's also developed as we've developed as a business. The size of brands we're going after has always got to kind of scale as well. So I guess leads, and then just building the team, to be honest with you. I think finding talent's tough, especially now we're kind of just really operating out of D2C, but mainly in fashion.
Yeah.
We've got people now from brands like Represent, from brands like Mania Devoir as
Yeah,
well.
like that.
Yeah.
Huge brand.
Yeah, well, exactly. And I think that's really what we always try to aim for. And I guess we've got lucky, but it's been the right timing. They've bought into the culture and now they're, embedded into the team. And when we're speaking to, smallerish boutique fashion brands, and we can say that we've got people like that in the team who are going to be working directly on their
Got the
businesses.
authority, haven't you?
Yeah, exactly. And obviously they're teaching me a lot. I don't run any ads anymore. Obviously we've got a full team for that now, of people who are way better at it than me, which is what I want to do as well. But I'd say those two things, to be honest, have been the toughest, the two main bottlenecks that we've always faced.
Yeah. What about you personally? In terms of what's been like your biggest struggles as like a business owner?
I think just always you always need to develop yourself.
Yeah,
I think running the business. Sam's moved on to another business we've got now, which is a recruitment agency, which operates within the e-commerce industry. So for me, kind of running everything, it was since about August time. Obviously, it's helped having a great team. I've always had to push myself and develop myself further, and I think that's been something I've definitely realised more this year.
Get yourself in that gym, lad, told you.
Well, yeah, that's it. I think you've always got to be conscious of that as well. Because if you're not improving yourself, how can the business continuously move forward? And especially operating in such an evolving market within e-com, there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of people doing it as well. So you've just got to, really do anything from that standpoint to make yourself stand out a bit more and push yourself further.
100%. There's that, and other people are doing other things as well. If you're not growing, there's somebody else out there fucking going balls to the walls with it, isn't they?
That's it. It's there's quite low barriers to entry, obviously, in the agency space. You can start one. Really, anyone could start one.
Yeah.
So, and there's a lot of people self-proclaimed like they're really good. It's really easy to market yourself well. So I think the best proof you can have is actual, long-term case studies, which is, we've got a lot of them now, but again, there's some great agencies out there and there's going to be more as well. So it's just, you've got to always be pushing yourself and trying to improve any way that you can.
100%.
Did you always know that you were going to go into business when you were younger, or you kind of said you fell into it?
I think I've always liked the idea of like running my own business from like being quite young.
The old conversations back from the gym.
What's that?
The old conversations we had back from the gym.
Exactly, yeah. Like we used to speak about it, didn't we? Right at the start of uni and stuff. But not really, to be honest with you. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I was going to go do a placement. It was in sales for a software company in London, and I just thought it was a good step to take. But now I'm in this industry. It's definitely what I love doing. I love e-commerce. It's class, especially on the side that I'm in, just growing loads of brands with great founders. Like it's so rewarding.
100%. I think that as well. I think, and this goes for a lot of people, they don't know what they want to do, especially at our age at that point. It was like 20, 21, and it's like you think you pick that option, like you just said there with the sales placement, because you think that's what you should be doing at that point. Do you know what I mean? And then obviously you fell into this, but then I always say it's like, even we're all doing something now, but this may be not obviously the last thing that we ever do. Do you know what I mean? But the skills that you build, the skills that you learn, especially with you like managing a team, it opens up a completely different like world of opportunities going forward, doesn't it? So
yeah, I think sales is a really good thing to learn.
Oh mate,
like with whatever situation you're in,
yeah,
you learn how to communicate with people, and I think you're never going to lose that. Like you said, you can take that into anything. So that was kind of my thinking with that placement.
Yeah.
And again,
100%.
It's tough, isn't it, when you're younger as well, because there's so many things you can see other people doing. There's so many options now as well.
Yeah.
But I think getting a foundational skill like that under you is a good step.
I think that as well. It's like when you're doing that and you're not making money at the start, and all your mates are doing a job, and it's like, yes, they've got maybe a worse job on paper, but they're still making money. You're not. Do you know what I mean? But you're doing your own thing. I think that bit there is hard to push past when you're not actually making it, but you don't know if it's going to pay off at that point, do you?
Delayed gratification with anything, like
massive.
I'm learning that more now, is what you should always go for. Which again, like you said, even like the gym or even just business, like you said, you're not really going to see any results for a long time.
Yeah.
But it's that continuous like effort you've got to put in, even if you can't see anything back. But then again, when you can start to see stuff come back, it's it's way worth it.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of people give up, especially in our industry, because they can see how much money you can make in a short amount of time, and then they've seen all these screenshots from different mentors on Instagram and stuff like that, and then they've not made 10k a month in 2-3 months, and then they just jack it in. Do you know what I mean? I think it's important to, obviously the longer you can leave it in terms of seeing the results, the more successful you'll be in the long run. Because obviously, like you said there, that delayed gratification is absolutely massive. But yeah, that's one thing I wanted to ask in terms of when you had that decision where you didn't know what you were going to do, and then you fell into the business side. What did your mum and dad think? What were their opinions? I know sometimes it can be, oh, don't do that. There's no money in that.
They're a bit different, to be fair. My dad was fully up for it. He wanted to just go for it. My mum did as well. She was just wanted me to play it a bit more safe.
Yeah,
do the
mums do, don't they?
And then maybe see what happened. But my dad was obviously all for. He just wanted me to go for it, which obviously I did that in the end. I think my mum was definitely like more comfortable with me doing that after we'd had some success. I think obviously Sam leaving his job was proof of that as well. But no, they've obviously been so supportive. All my family have. They just can't. They don't really understand what I do.
Yeah,
especially my dad.
It's like a different world for them, isn't it?
It's so difficult, like the online space compared to what our parents are used to.
Yeah,
like, how can you make 5-10k online? Like,
that's it.
Same what we
think you're committing a crime.
Well, that's what Mum said. It's like, is it legal? It fully is. But no, they've been really supportive, and I think obviously just really proud of where we're at. And obviously, I don't see them as much. I speak to them all the time, but every time I speak to them, there's so much more to update them on, just because there's so much going on. But no, they're absolutely buzzing with what I'm doing. All my family are, like I said.
Yeah, 100%.
When did you get to a point when you kind of like understood that this is working, what I'm doing? Because understandable, when you're first starting out, it's kind of like a big shot in the dark when you're going into business. Like, where is that point? Be like, we're onto something here, and actually bringing that success.
I think probably. So we've had 3 different offices now. The first one was just a room for me and Sam to work in.
Remember that, yeah. A little sofa in corner.
Literally, yeah. And then probably the second office, we'd got maybe a team of 6 of us. We'd signed a couple of decent brands. Like one of them is Glenmuir, which is like a golfing clothing brand. They sponsor the Ryder Cup.
Yeah,
bringing them in, well, they're a proper business. They've been around since I think it was like 1891 or something. So heritage brand. So I think some things like that were starting to happen, and we were getting them good results.
Yeah. It's like, whoa,
and
it's biggie that.
But it's tough because there's so much going on. It's hard to take a moment to think. But it was probably around then, to be honest with you, when it started to get serious then. And obviously then we had people in the team who had a payroll, stuff like that.
You're actually responsible for people at that point, like people's actual wages and stuff.
Yeah, which is mad. But it's probably around then, and obviously just literally it's just snowballed since then, especially this year. Started to grow quite quickly this year. Good. And obviously now, big team, like a proper office. We're looking to move offices again, hopefully, in the next 6 months further into Media City, because we've got no room in this one, so we need to start looking at that to expand.
Nice problem to have, that, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But it's probably starting to get some proper businesses under us who are working with us and who are getting good results. And then, right, okay, we can do this now. We can actually offer that out to people.
Yeah, 100%.
And they took us to the Ryder Cup in September. I've been working with them for about 2 years.
Oh, did you go for free there? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's class.
Oh, really? There's some good perks that.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, I'm not massive into golf. That was the best.
Yeah, but you got to go.
Bar Luton winning the playoff. That was probably the best sporting thing I've been to. But no, it's good, and it just represents a good, like, we've built a really good partnership with them, which again, not that we're on par with them, but we're, you know what I mean, recognised alongside people like that. That's when it's like, right, okay, we can actually do this.
Yeah. Well, that's mean they're a proper business and they've chosen you. That's trust in it, that.
Yeah, it's good.
Mad that, fair dues. I didn't even know I know they were big. I didn't know they sponsored the Ryder Cup.
Yeah, so they make all the kit for the European team.
Really?
Yeah.
That's mental. Yeah, I remember you going there. I was like, what's he gone there for? But now it made sense.
It was class. It was really good.
That was pretty surreal. Like,
yeah, it was, and obviously Europe hadn't won for a while. I think, I don't know.
No, I was gonna say you're totally winging that, mate.
Yeah, I know. I'll probably.
Oh,
no, it was good. Just the atmosphere and everything. Obviously, Rome's such a good city, but then to be there as guests of Glenmuir, it's really lucky to be able to do it.
You have like guests of Glenmuir on your back.
Did, yeah. I had a little lanyard on.
That was class. I was gonna say, in terms of what would you, as obviously, like, hopefully over time people will be watching this, like, what's one of the things that you think is actually stops people from, I know, like I said, you fell into it, but what's one of the things you think stops people from actually starting something, or maybe going off on their own, or starting something with a friend and actually doing something that other people aren't actually doing?
It's probably the fear of failure. Probably.
Yeah.
I think when you're younger, there's no point worrying about that because there's so much of the time. And even if you did fail, it's not necessarily a bad thing.
You're learning, aren't you?
Yeah. So like, if Prosper did stop tomorrow, I'd have so many skills I could take into whatever I did, if it was a job or starting something else. There's so many transferable skills that you pick up when you're in business. So I think it's probably fear of failure. But then I'd always pivot your mind to not worry about the failure and look at the benefits that you're going to pick up from failure. Because I've made, so many mistakes, even just like last month, so many. Learning from them, iterating on them, continuing to push forward, and then using the knowledge that you've got now from making those mistakes. So it probably is that, or just not knowing where to start. But I think there's so much online now. I don't think there's really any excuse to not know what to do, just because there is so much education online, even just on YouTube, for instance. So that should never also be a barrier, but it probably is those, or just finding something that you want to go into. But I think you just got to, like YouTube, obviously fitness is obviously something you're passionate about, just going into that, and you can always craft something out of whatever you enjoy.
I think like what you just said there, I think there's a lot of things that people don't start, and I think there's probably too much information out there probably right now. It's like we say to people that that's why they can't get in shape and stuff like that. It's not the actual doing the actual work, it's because they consume so much information and it becomes too confusing. They actually don't know where to start. Do you know what I mean? That leads me on to my next question about, you mentioned about you had like mentors and stuff, so Joe and Ollie. What do you think is the benefit of having somebody there like by your side in terms of obviously planning it out?
Massively. I mean, they helped us, and Ollie still massively helps me now. We're in another mentorship program called Hydra as well, which they're based in Nashville, so they give us a lot of support as well. But there was probably a year in the middle of the 4 years where we didn't have a mentor for about a year, and we really felt it because we didn't grow. So I think it's so key, because you've got someone there who's been and done it. They can offer you advice, and I think the biggest thing for us, so we have another person in the business called Ed. He invested about a year into the agency, and having him's great because he's external in a way, so he can see and spot a lot of issues that we can't see being in the day to day. So I think those two things, having someone who's been and done it and can offer that sound advice because they know what challenges you're facing, but then also the person who's not, having a mentor who's obviously external as well, just gives you that. They have a bird's eye view of the issues, and they can then kind of understand them in a different way than what you can because you're in it. So probably those two things I'd say are beneficial.
100%. I think as well, like taking the guesswork out of it completely. Like we said there about being confused and stuff like that. You have somebody who's been there and done it, and it's been like, right, there's the game plan, just go and execute it. All you've got to do is implement it. It's like, right, I've made these mistakes, you learn from these mistakes, and you just do that. And as long as you execute it, you will get to that point. Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
and I think someone there to tell you what you're doing is right as well, because you're not going to say anything sometimes from working on something for months, but just having that person who can just support you and let you know that what you're doing is right, or pivot you in a way to then put you on the right track.
Yeah,
I suppose this goes hand in hand with like building your network around your business as well. So I assume you've built up good connections with these people, which obviously going to have a domino effect within your network and helping you progress.
That's it, and I think Hydra's a really good community. There's like 80 agency founders in their Slack community. So again, you've just got another place there to ask a question, or if you need, like, obviously there's a lot of different parts that go into growing an e-com brand. So content, for instance, if I needed help with content, there's also someone there I can use and work with. So yeah, 100%. But it's obviously good as well, just like with you two, just being able to sit down and speak about business. Like, it's nice to be able to just do that, even though you two aren't directly in the same industry as me. So I think a network from that perspective as well is also good, because you kind of your interests change a lot when you start 100%. Doing this. So it's nice to have that.
But I think it's different interests in it, but I think a lot of the time it's business is business. Do you know what I mean? You can always bounce ideas off each other. You'll have problems, I'll have problems, and we can sometimes help each other fix it, even like you said, even if it is different industry. Do you know what I mean?
It's all transferable skills, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Like, especially just running anything there's a lot of similarities across every business. So yeah, no, 100%.
What would you kind of say has been like the biggest challenge, like overall, other than the leads in the business, in terms of starting out from where you are, where you started, and compared to where you are now?
I think it's a good question, to be fair. I think
stumped you.
I think probably obviously losing clients, things like that happening. So pushbacks, I guess, in terms of growth, and always you just need to kind of get over it quite quickly and just understand why it went wrong and then move forward. So I guess that comes under kind of growing pains. So there's always obviously bottlenecks.
Yeah.
I think finding them maybe not quick enough sometimes has probably been a big challenge.
Yeah.
So I think diagnosing bottlenecks has been a skill I've definitely got better at over the past 12 months. But not having that skill definitely was challenging, because you'd be kind of running at a wall for months on end and not being able to find the solution, which obviously is quite unmotivating for you, especially running the business. Not a lot of people in the team might know you're hitting those, because they think that, the work they're doing is fine.
You got to put on a brave face.
But but they don't know kind of what's going on at the top. So it's probably that, not finding problems quick enough, and that's really that's been tough as well. Because there was a year when we didn't have mentors. So that's what we were facing with. But yeah, since then, and since having a mentorship program back on, it's been much better.
Yeah, I think with mentorship as well, it's almost like sometimes we know what we need to do, and it's just doing it. Do you know what I mean? I think it's the same with our game. It's like we always push about accountability is massive. Do you know what I mean? So you may have all the information, but one, it's having that information that's tailored to you and your obviously situation, but it's also then doing it, and it's doing it on a consistent basis. And you mentioned earlier about like data tracking and stuff like that, but filling out your numbers, what you don't track, you can't measure. Do you know what I mean? It's all these things, because if you're not tracking these things, how do you know what's working, what's not? Do you know what I mean? And then based off that data, you can make good or bad decisions, essentially.
We track everything now, literally everything we can track we do, and that's really helped us, because we have a meeting on the sales side, for instance, every Monday, where we'll break down all the data from the last 7 days, and that then diagnoses your bottlenecks for you, and then we can go into that section of the data, understand why it's dipped, and then make changes thereafter. So doing tracking's definitely helped us get away from that. I think the other thing is probably not niching down enough.
Yeah,
we were going after a lot of different businesses a couple of years ago, and that stumped our growth. But then obviously now, going just after ecom, we can build a team around ecom. We can build the offering around ecom. Every time we create a case study, it's all again around that industry as well. So that's probably another thing, to be fair, we didn't do, which mentorship, like they helped us massively with that right at the start.
Yeah,
that really helped us.
That's the thing as well. They've probably been in that exact position. Do you know what I mean? They felt that exact same way. But I was gonna say, in terms of what would you, if you could give 2 or 3 pieces of advice to somebody who's maybe hopefully watching this in the future, knowing they want to do something, but just like obviously we said there about not knowing where to start, what would you say is like the best advice in terms of making that first step?
In terms of making the first step, it probably would be find support, find mentorship, or someone who can help guide you, whether that's even like a family friend or someone who's even just being in business, because they're going to give you so much advice, which is going to help you get momentum quicker. So it would definitely be along them lines again.
Yeah, 100%.
Did you get to a point where you realised you have to take yourself out of the business and work like on the business to grow the business instead of doing like all manual tasks?
Yeah, I've had it literally recently as well, because we've grown quite quickly this month, and I just got back involved with some of the client onboarding, which I shouldn't have done, and that really affected the quality of the process, because I was taking ownership of certain bits which I shouldn't have been doing. But I suppose from the ad like delivery perspective, realised that maybe about 1.5 years ago, because I was still running ad accounts, but I didn't have the time to put into it. So it's little things like that where you're not going to deliver the service to the best of the business's ability because you don't have the time and you need to focus on other things. And if you're not focusing on the business, then it's not going to get more, it's not going to grow as it should do. It probably from an efficiency standpoint, and then also in terms of leads, because you're not marketing yourselves as well.
Yeah.
I suppose that's been kind of always happening in terms of that realisation.
So easily done.
It is, and you think in your head you can do something quicker just because it's there and it's in front of you, but it's not always the right decision, and then it eventually actually costs you more time, to be honest with you.
I suppose that's the beauty of having a team, like you can focus on different areas where you can focus on scaling rather than doing the task that's probably not the biggest ROI for your time.
Exactly. Delegation's a tough thing to learn properly, which I think I've been okay with it, but it's still something I need to work on massively. And I think if you can do that right, you're going to really benefit from then the team you've built.
What's your opinion on work-life balance?
I think you do need it, but I think if you're enjoying what you do enough, then it shouldn't be seen as work in a way. I think that can actually make you happier than having a better balance.
Yeah.
You've got something you actually are passionate about and you can spend your time doing. He says it in Deep Work, the book Deep Work.
Yeah.
Having something to work on all the time is actually going to be more beneficial to your happiness than not.
Yeah.
So I think you obviously need it because I think you burn out, and I think having time off's very effective. But I guess everyone's different though, aren't they?
Yeah.
I prefer I do obviously need time off, but I do love working, especially on weekends as well.
I think the thing is with that burnout, I was watching like on my mentorship at the minute, and the guy mentions about you don't get burnt out, you lose your purpose.
Yeah.
And I thought it was quite an interesting perspective that it's like some people say, oh, I need to take a break, or I need to do this, I need to do that, to take a step back out of things, or whether it's a business or whatever else. And I think it's not, if you like we spoke there about like your mission, your vision and stuff like that, and if you're so clear of where you want to get to in, let's say 3, 5, 7, 8 years time, and you know how much work it's going to take to get there, it's like in reality you shouldn't be burnt out. And I think obviously when people say, oh, why don't you take a break, it's the weekend, it's this, it's that, I'm like, some people, I feel like when they say that, they put in how they feel about their work onto us, when obviously you just said there about we enjoy what we do. Like obviously I've said in the past that I work Saturday, Sunday, work in a coffee shop, happy days, that's me at a happy place. So I think in terms of that, it's like, leave me alone. Do you know what I mean?
I feel lucky to say it, but I don't really feel like it's a job.
Yeah.
Because I'm building something, and well, there's just a lot to do, to be honest with you.
There's always work to do, isn't there?
Game, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And
You're just trying to achieve the next level, and there's always levels and levels above to keep going. Like it's a never-ending process.
Exactly, like you're creating it all the time. So, you can, do 9 to 5, but you won't get that far.
Yeah.
I think if you try to actually build something, and Josh, the leader of Hydra, says if you don't work on Saturdays or Sundays, you're going to always lose a bit of momentum. So even if you just do an hour on a Saturday, for instance, you're just keeping it going. So, yeah, you obviously need time off, but like, I think if you're building something and you enjoy it, you don't feel like you're actually working half the time. So
I think that as well is like, even if you do have a bit of time off, I'd always try and make sure it's more Saturday, because then you just said there about you losing momentum. I think if you work a bit on the Sunday or a bit on Sunday evening, you go into that Monday with obviously that momentum, because obviously you've done, I don't know, you've made your to-do list or priority list for Monday morning, then obviously you've got a clean sweep to actually attack it at that point.
Everyone takes the piss at work. Well, Ollie does, because if I don't prepare on the weekend for Monday, I'm stressed. And Monday morning, like, no one can really speak to me.
Yeah.
So I need to just get myself sorted, just because there's so much to think about. And that's got better, obviously, over time. But yeah, it's like a running joke, because I'm like, I'm in my mode, like I just need to like sort my shit out.
Yeah. That's the thing, it's only probably take like 10-20 minutes just Sunday night to plan it, innit?
I'm back, like, and then I'm like, all right, okay.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you have like a productivity system that you utilise, or how do you actually structure your weeks and days?
Yeah, so we use ClickUp for that. I guess from like, we don't really use it for task setting, because the way that we deliver the service, like, it's very volatile, and it's hard to set specific tasks. Everyone knows what they're doing in the team, so they just get on with it. If we need to maybe set certain things, we will do. I use it, and the leadership team use it for, like, we set OKRs at the start of every month, so like big jobs or projects to work on to then move each team forward or the business forward. So we use it from that standpoint. We also have all of our processes in there and stuff like that. So that's mainly what we work out, and then we have Slack as well. But what we've done is we've kind of set like daily expectancies of what we want everyone to do, and then everyone just follows that. And I would never want to kind of narrow people's day-to-day too much, because it's a creative kind of service that we do. So people know there's ways of working to follow, and then everyone kind of just works around those. There's communication deliverables to hit, things like that. But the rest of it, is in ClickUp.
Yeah, oh, that's cool. When running a team, have you got to a point where you've had to let someone go for any certain reasons?
There has been a few, yeah. Obviously, it's never nice, but I think you've got to make those decisions quickly and stick with them. And obviously, every time you do that, it's for the benefit of the business and the team. And so, yeah, there's been a few occasions over the past couple of years. But again, usually from like
It's character
someone
building,
with the right
isn't it?
fit. If they don't fit the culture, for instance, or you just feel it's beneficial for them and the company, and it's just you've got to have that conversation. And every time that has been done, we've felt the benefits of it. To be honest with you, so I think it's being justified. But yeah, it's obviously never a nice thing to do, but you've got to make these tough decisions to move things forward.
I think you doing that as well, though, that's almost adding something onto your armor as like a business owner. Like you said, it's not an easy thing to do, but that's going to allow you and equip you to make tougher decisions going forward as well. Do you know what I mean? Because I know obviously it is. You have to say some pretty it's not, when you see the drop on the face and that, it's like you are still young in reality. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but yeah, no, you're so right. Though. I think anything like that, it levels you up.
Yeah,
like,
100%.
in a different way. That's why I've just got to go through it. You just got to just do it. And I think just working on the business every day. Obviously, you get hit by different challenges from every different angle all the time. So that's why the consistency is so key. As well, and just working through everything as it comes.
I think as well with that is when you're actually, let's say you do have to do that, I think it's almost acquires you with that skill that you know what you are looking for and what you're not looking for. Do you know what I mean? And you can always pinpoint. It's like what George Eaton says. He says hire fast but fire faster, doesn't he? And I think that again, it's just another skill of right. I know what to look out for in terms of these things maybe not going in the right direction in the future. And if that happens with an employee going forward, maybe keep a closer eye on them. Do you know what I mean? Because something might be happening. You can put things in place to prevent that maybe happening going forward or something similar.
Yeah, I think as your business develops, your culture develops, and certain people might just not fit it anymore, and that's just how it is. Obviously, Rach, I mentioned, she's been with us from the start, and she's just fully developed with the culture, and it's been amazing to watch her grow in her career as well. But again, we just hire based on culture, obviously, unless it's a really kind of high level role. There'll be a lot of obviously experience needed as well, but culture's our biggest kind of factor that we look for, because if they're not the right person, they're not going to fit into our because it is so defined. No,
100%.
Do you have anyone that you look up to or take a lot of inspiration from, like for example George Eaton or someone else that motivates you quite a lot?
Yeah, I'd probably say him, to be honest with you. From a business owner perspective, obviously I'm good friends with Ollie Hudson now, who runs a few different agencies, but he helps me a lot. And yeah, I'd probably say that. I think obviously Hamosi, especially at the start, his content helped me massively. And even like Diary CEO podcasts, obviously the business kind of led ones, they're really good as well. But I'd probably say that, those guys, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so in your own kind of time, would you say you also like listening to entrepreneurship podcasts, like reading the self-development books, that type of stuff?
Yeah, there's a lot of econ podcasts to listen to. I mean, Frizella as well. Not so much now, but at the start he helped well massively as well. Yeah,
you love him, don't you?
Yeah.
Just in terms of like a mindset. I mean, it's a very ruthless mindset. It's good. But yeah, I do read quite a lot. I've always got something going. Started to read a lot more about philosophy this year. To be fair,
Have you? Yeah.
It's been good, yeah. Which is, I guess, a little bit different, but it's still obviously fiction, isn't it? So I'm reading like the Daily Stoic at the moment, which is it's only 1 page a day.
Yeah, I've been reading that as well.
Yeah,
Banging,
it's good, isn't it? Yeah.
1 page there.
Yeah, because it's like there's so much information on 1 page. So what you need.
Really?
Yeah, it's 365 pages. So you read 1 page a day for the full year. It's got a different like, philosophical teaching on each.
Like, if you read one every day, there's so much wisdom to take in.
It's
Like,
mad.
you wouldn't-
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
It's a good book to have on the backburner as well, because you can just read that and then obviously have another one.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm ready for that yet.
No, it's good. It's really good. But yeah, I think you've always got to have a conscious effort towards education all the time, and I think that's the next thing I'm trying to upskill the team in is off their own back, listen to econ podcasts, read self-development books, because that's going to benefit them obviously while they're with Prosper and obviously whatever else they do in their career.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
What's in terms of your experience with imposter syndrome? You ever had it? Like, not too much?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
Especially as we bringing people into the team who are more experienced than me in areas. I think that's been challenging, but I think you just got to back yourself, and obviously they're also probably excited and maybe have a bit of that as well.
They're there for a reason, do you know what I mean?
Well, that's it, and you've got to just be confident in what you're doing. You've got ear, so take something in that.
Yeah.
But I think it's healthy to have that.
Yeah, 100%.
To be honest with you, and acknowledging that you've got that, because it just shows that you genuinely care, and you also understand that there's another level to get to.
Yeah, I think if you haven't got that, you're doing something wrong. Because if you haven't got it, you are being comfortable. Do you know what I mean? I think having that on a consistent basis, it shows that you are always pushing for more. Do you know what I mean?
There's a quote that I don't know who said it, but it's true knowledge comes from knowing what you don't know.
Yeah.
I think that's really true in that respect as well. And especially when you're trying to grow and develop, you need to always appreciate that there's always more to know and understand. Especially in e-com, obviously it's developing all the time. So you need to make sure that you've got a conscious effort on kind of sharpening the blade.
I think even in the grand scheme of things, we're all pretty young. Like most millionaires are like, they get a million over like 40, 50.
What's him who made KFC? What, he started like 50 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, like most millionaires are like later age, like 25, 26. So it's very
we've
early.
established I'm 26.
Yeah, it's very early.
Prick.
27 this year.
Yeah, I know. Fucking don't be telling people that.
Well, do you struggle to switch off?
Yeah, definitely. More out of excitement sometimes, just because I know there's more to do and I want to just crack on with it. So, but I think now I try to like turn my phone off at like, or not turn it off, but like put it away at like 9, for instance, every night. Just do little things like that, just to try and actually like rest my mind. Obviously, you go on, there's always something probably popping up that you can then like, which will then wake you back up. So I definitely do. I think writing a to-do list though, at the end of every day is being probably the biggest thing to help me switch off, because I know I've got my day set up. I don't have to worry. I know kind of what I need to go into. But yeah, I do. I think anyone can, to be fair, just because we love what we're doing and there's always more to do. You know, your day's never finished when you're building something, because there's always something else to work on. So, which I guess is a good and bad thing. But
even what Hormozy says, like all he does is work and he loves it so much. He says like, why should I switch off?
Yeah. Well, he says that, then he says like some people like knitting, I like working.
Like work, gym, eat. That's all he does. And
he says it straight, doesn't he?
Yeah,
but it's so true, everything he says.
100%. I think as well he says that about like sometimes people are stressed. People don't enjoy some form of the job. Do you know what I mean? The only way to get better at it is by working more. Do you know what I mean? Like doing anything, do more of it to get better at it.
Well, George Heaton said that on Diary CEO when he got asked about burnout. Work through it.
Yeah, exactly. Right. The only way to decrease burnout is to keep working. Go
through that, fair enough. You just got to build the muscle. I do get, to be fair, because I think reflecting from now till 4 years ago, the rate that we can all work now will be much, much greater, because we've done it more. I think it's like everything, you just got to train at it. Actually.
Yeah, I think as well with I mean, we say burnout, do we believe it or not? But in reality, if you always stop when you feel that burnout, as you progress, as you get to another more higher level, you are going to experience that more and more and more. So you can't just every time you get to that point stop. Do you know what I mean? You have to break through that glass ceiling, if you want to call it that.
I think it's like understanding when you need to take like some time away, whether that's an hour, whether that's a week off or a day. Like you don't necessarily have to push through it, but you can understand it, the warning signs, and then that's where the beauty, you can have like a team or delegate. You need to step away, because sometimes when you are in that frame, like your head's in the sand, and you need to step away to kind of see like these bottlenecks.
Yeah,
I know when I do now, because I don't want to go into the office. That's like my trigger now. I know I need maybe a bit of time off, and I'll just take a few days off, and I'm back to what I need to do.
It's good when you can pinpoint it, isn't it?
Yeah, because I don't want to go in. I don't want anyone to speak to me. So I know that's like my thing now that I need to be conscious of. And when I do feel like that, I know it's right. Okay, let's just
take a rack off.
Have a moment. Yeah.
Yeah, nice whiskey and ginger beer for me. That take the edge off.
They're lethal there.
And I think what you mentioned there as well, and we hear a lot about people ain't got time to do this, people ain't got time to do that. And I think like I said, people watching this, I think if you want to start something, it's starting sooner rather than later, because as we've mentioned, we're all quite young. We haven't got that many commitments at the minute. Like obviously, I've got a missus, unfortunately, but when you start having kids and stuff like that, it's just going to become harder and harder and harder, and you're going to have less time and less time and less time to actually make risks and start something new. Do you know what I mean? Because it is a risk in reality. Do you know what I mean? And we are young, so if stuff does go wrong, like heaven forbid, we have a chance and we've got time to recover. Whereas if you're like 30, 40, 50, you've got 2, 3 kids, a wife, it's a lot more difficult to make these sacrifices, because they are sacrifices. Do you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't be working 10, 15 hours when I've got a family of, I don't know, 2 or 3. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I think that's quite important as well.
No, 100% agree. Yeah, there's so many areas you can get into now, especially online. You know, we're in a really like lucky like time, aren't we? Really?
Massively.
How accessible everything is as well.
Yeah.
And you can really start a business with, from a financial perspective, with literally nothing.
Service based, nothing, isn't it?
Exactly, because there's nothing. It's all intangible. It's all online. I think we paid 300 quid to start our mentorship. That was the only investment we put in.
You got that cheat there, didn't you? Yeah, I think as well with in terms of saving time, you mentioned there about a to-do list, and I always say it's like I always try and make sure it's like a priority list. So if you have 10 things on that list and they're in order of priority, let's say you have a busy day or a long day, if you get only 4 of them things done, 4 out of 10 tasks done, like it's not the end of the world, because in reality you just add that 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tasks onto your day tomorrow, and that'll just carry over. Do you know what I mean? I think that's one of the best ways to do it. In terms of people always think, and this is why obviously they get annoyed with themselves as well, that I've not done everything that I set out to do. And I think if you have that list of priorities, like it's not a big deal, just put it onto tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? It keeps that consistency, and it's more so for your head as well. It's like, right, I'm on it, and like I said, I'll just crack on with it tomorrow.
As long as you're moving the needle forward every day, even if it's like a tiny bit, you still progress forward. And that's where the consistency comes in, like you said. So even if you do an hour on a Saturday, you've progressed it a tiny bit, still kept it going.
Yeah.
And like you said, at the end of every month, we reflect on what we've done and what we haven't done. It's so good to see.
So important.
Even if we've got 50% of the stuff done that we wanted to do, we've still worked on a lot of things. I think you've got to be like conscious of that as well for your own motivation, like understanding, and but yeah, I think that's where the consistency comes in massively.
I think I can't remember who said it, and it's like too many people wait to actually start, for all the stars to align to actually start something, when in reality imperfect action is better than no action at all, and then that imperfect action just compounds over time, and then you can obviously acquire these skills to make achieve big results obviously over time.
I had no idea how to run Facebook ads when we got our first client. We just went and tried to get them first, and then learned kind of on the job, I guess. But it's similar to that. You just got to start and just try and get some customers or some clients, and then you can work out your offering after that, because obviously without clients, and what's the point in building a good offer? Like
that's exactly what we did, like just started, and you learn more by like failing and then just going again, rather than just like learning all this information and not applying it. There's so much information out there, hence why so many people are confused, but if you're not actually applying it, then what's the point?
We did our first it wasn't even a retainer, it was that client. We did performance based. It's 30 quid we got paid for.
I had like Will Cartledge on mine for like 25 quid a month.
Will you see on
it was mental. Oh god, there was some.
You just got to start, and I think you get more kind of, you get a lot more benefits than the actual retainer or the money from doing the service for that period. And then set you up to increase your price or to get a case study. And that was it for us. We got a really good case study early on, and we did the work for free that month. I think we got it was in COVID. I think we spent 500 quid for a client and got 30k back. So we got like a 60 ROAS. And that just helped us get so many businesses. We had proof then of what we could do.
100%.
But we did that month for free. But what that gave us was way more valuable than any retainer.
That's what I think not a lot of people are willing to do. Do you know what I mean? Like, you need to almost give what free value can I actually provide to these people. Then, like obviously you just said there, you got that result. Like I said, that initially was for free. Have you still got them now? Or not? No. But like obviously them results there, you wouldn't have got all these clients, and it wouldn't have snowballed if you hadn't done that first month for free. Well,
that got us Moda. Grip Moda, which is probably our, in terms of growth, best success story. Took him from like 30k months, he's doing 7-figure months now. And like that case study then got us X, Y, and Z. So I think you've got to,
my stomach's doing a madness.
Always just appreciate free work at the start. It's going to teach you more than anything monetary.
I always say to people when they say, how can I move my business online in terms of like online coach? I'm like, I'm doing my qualifications, I'm doing this. I'm like, I've probably learned more than anything in terms of getting people in shape for free than a 2-3 year like PT course. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, have you used anything from uni?
Nah, well, I don't know. Like maybe bits, but probably not.
Not what it were worth.
It's more value like meeting people like you and that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
More the overall experience. Like, you're still young, like learning about like people, other skills, rather than moving away.
Should have seen our halls.
Mate.
that was character building.
Yeah.
That was character
They
building,
were
mate.
terrible.
What uni was it? Was it Leeds?
Leeds
Yeah,
backwards, yeah.
but it was like an old brewery. Oh, mate,
Yeah,
like
they were worse.
I cried a lot in that gaff. Like I went through some. Oh god, they were rough times.
I didn't even go see them. I knew someone who's living at them the year before.
Did you not?
I just said, "Oh, are they all right?"
I don't
Yeah,
remember
they're
doing
sound.
it, to be
I don't know why he said they were sound.
I lived in Monkwood.
Can't remember what mine was.
Yeah, you was right next to the gate, and yours was like. It's not obviously none of them were great, but yours was like nice-ish.
It was nice for them. I had an ensuite.
You had an ensuite. Oh my god, I shared with like I think it was like 2 German people. One guy had like fucking curly, just disgusting hair. My missus used to come, and there used to be like hair in the plug socket. And my missus broke down in my room once, and she was like, "I just can't believe you live here." And I was like, "Oh god, well I'm here for the next fucking like 9 months, so you better get used to it." But yeah, they were tragic. Character building though, again. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's it. And we spoke early on about like setting up a business, didn't we? Right at the start. I don't
God
know.
walks from Iceland.
They're very valuable then. I don't know what we're even on about, but it was just about self-development, doing something which is going to set us up for success in it now. Like, I can't remember.
I think
exactly what we're on
I remember. I can't remember who said it, but one of us said to each other, "Was like, I don't know what we're gonna do, but I know we're gonna do something."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and obviously, I mean, it worked out well so far.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty fortunate that you guys had like you guys around each other, like wanting to do something different compared to a 9 to 5, like actually going into business.
Yeah.
Most people don't.
Yeah, well, I think that's a big decision. What you mentioned earlier about moving here, like we moved here with like not a lot of money, and the fact that we were still doing our dissertation at the same time.
Doing final year, wasn't it?
Yeah, like, and that's the massive risk. And I was like, people need to,
How old were you both then?
20,
probably about 29.
30. 22 I was.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
It was literally 3 years ago from now, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It was
April, May. Yeah, mad.
So we'd only been running as a business for about 11 months.
That was a massive risk in
It
reality.
was, yeah.
Like massive.
I'm glad we did it though.
Yeah.
Massively. We always wanted to move this way though, didn't we? That was something else that we'd
Yeah.
quite a bit. But I think it's been again game changing. I think then you're really out your comfort zone. Then you can't fail. Then
Yeah. I think that's one thing as well, is you don't almost understand who you are as a person and what you're capable of till your back's against the wall. Do you know what I mean? Like when you have no other option, if it has to work, it's like right, and you actually shock yourself of what you can actually achieve at that point. Because it's like what we said earlier about when people are comfortable, and it's like, oh, like maybe I'll do this, maybe I'll do that, or you'll do a bit of work, but you could have done that bit of work much quicker. And if it's like, right, if I don't make this work, I can't pay X amount, or I can't pay my rent. It's like you make it happen, don't you?
I think as well. The other thing was us, me, you, and Sam moving out here away from everyone else.
Massively
was good, especially for me because Leeds was very close to home, so it was really easy to see my mates and
some awful times in that.
yeah,
Some great times. As well.
yeah. No, we had a good laugh there. Eki was was good, but I think that as well, just removing ourselves from all of that. And just all we did then was focus on what we were doing, and obviously us three running businesses, it gave us motivation. We were there to grow the businesses, and that's kind of why we did it. And obviously, it has worked out, thankfully. But.
Yeah, I think that there as well is it's important to try and surround yourself with the right sort of people. Like, do you know what I mean? If you hang around with like four people that are like smoking bud or getting on it every weekend, you are more than likely going to be exactly like them.
You're going to be the fifth out.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it's important, like obviously we've created that WhatsApp group now, where obviously we're not always around each other, but I think just having that's almost like what I call that growth circle, in it. Almost having that positive messages coming in like every day. Do you know what I mean? Bouncing ideas off each other. Like I said, even if it is different industries and stuff, like it helping people through certain things, and just like I said, just positive messages about just business in general, I think is important.
And it's always easy to for motivation to dip when you're the only person doing it around you.
Yeah.
Because like quite a lot of my friends, they've got grad jobs in London, and I'm the only one that's got a business. So luckily when I met Josh, and I've run my business with a partnership as well, so having these people around me is a complete game changer just for growing.
I think as well, like the team I've built all love what they do. So we've got a circle in that now as well. You know,
Yeah.
just a team of people who really enjoy growing an agency and growing e-com brands. So like, obviously we spend a lot of time at work. So then it's another circle in itself. If you get the culture right and you get the right people in that
100%.
culture, you're building something else there like that who's going to push everyone.
Yeah.
And it's mad to see now, from my perspective.
Something you built.
Yeah, and you know, people are actively pushing their own areas of the business without me pushing them, which is really, again, it's rewarding.
Actually wanting to do the work sort of thing.
Yeah, and
Instead
it
of you telling
motivates
them.
me to see that because, you know, we've got, you know, advocates in the team now. You know, more than me maybe on some days if I'm not feeling up for it.
Yeah.
I think that pushes me as well, which is good. But again, it just ties back to that building the right circle of people.
Do you go out with team outside of work or much?
Not really. We do team events and stuff, but I know some of the all the girls are really good friends, and that's good to see. Because again, we've built a good culture of very similar people. We take them out a little bit. We're going to Ivy Asia next month because it's our 4th birthday, so we're going to do something for that.
That's cool.
That'd be good, yeah.
Nice, lovely scran there.
It's just good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's that duck pate. Can't wait till 7 weeks and I'm scranning some of that. Okay, no.
Well, when you're not working, what type of stuff do you like to do when you're actually trying to have some downtime?
Watching Luton.
Yeah, watching a bit. I also go to the gym. I do work a lot though, to be fair, and even if I'm not,
It's a hobby, isn't it?
yeah, like even if I'm not, I'm still speaking to someone about something to do with it. Like we speak, like came around to yours the other day. All we did was watch footy and just chat about like what we were up to in terms of work. But that's all I want to do, really.
Yeah,
I think it's
yeah.
hard now if you.
It is a lifestyle, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
what
it.
it
It's
is.
got to be, I think, if you want to do it properly. But yeah, I just think that just chilling out. Go home quite a bit as well to see the family and stuff back in York and stuff. But yeah, mainly those, to be fair.
Yeah, even like going away, like working in a different environment, that's still like a fun thing to do, isn't it?
I've not done that much.
Yeah, you need
I
to
wanna
do
it
more of that.
Yeah, I think I'm getting to the point where I can soon.
I think with you having a team, it is a little bit different to us, isn't it?
Yeah, because I feel like I always have to be here, especially in this part. Like we're growing quickly.
Yeah.
It's really it's a necessity for me to be in the office at the moment. But I do feel like over the next 6 months I'll have that.
Just a week here and there.
Just do it. Yeah, that's all. Nothing too much. But I think, yeah, I guess a big part of, you know, working for yourself is the freedom side, and I think that's probably sometimes more beneficial than the monetary side.
Yeah.
Because again, that's such a luxury, is to be able to kind of just get up and go. Where like you've done it quite a bit, haven't you, over the past few years, for like decent stints of time as well, haven't you?
Massively helps. Like honestly,
It's unreal. Like you work more, to be honest, but because you're in a new environment, it's fun.
well, it's like I think it was Chris Williams that said it. What was the point of having FU freedom if you don't ever say FU?
Yeah.
It's so true, isn't it?
Yeah,
And
definitely.
it's massively important. I think if you do have that, and I think it's just it's weird. Even when I'm on like flights and stuff, I just come up with, you know, when you've just got nothing else to do, and like obviously you said there about turning your phone off and stuff. Like you've got nothing else to do but just think, and I think it's just good to almost have that at certain points, even in certain parts of your day. Even if you can just have like 10 minutes of just thought, and even if it's just, I don't know, writing stuff out and stuff, I think it's good to do that at times, because you do come up with some great ideas that can think of, this might push my business forward, or maybe I'll test this or test that, and I can track this and track that, see if it actually has a big impact.
Or even like practicing gratitude within that. It's easy to always be thinking about the next best thing compared to like understanding your journey and be like, it's actually crazy how young we are and the position you're in.
Yeah.
Most people would be dreaming of that. Like even younger Josh, younger Jack would be screaming right now to be in the position you're in.
Yeah, and you've got to reflect on that, because I think it's
Not a lot of people do it, do they?
No, I don't journal or anything, but I have a Google Doc on my laptop where if I feel like I just need to write something out, I just go on it and just like get it out of my head, and that, like you said, that really helps you.
Yeah.
With a few things, like personally and from like a work perspective as well, because it allows you to just reflect. It's almost like therapy in a way, isn't it? Like just getting stuff down on a page and then you can like look back through it. I think that I've been doing that quite a bit this year, which has really helped me with a few things. But
That's the thing. I think people don't. Well, I've not got it down, but I think you need to do more of that. Do you know what I mean? Like obviously you just said there, you probably if when we were at uni now and then we've fast forwarded to this point, obviously we're not happy with where we're at the minute. But like I said, them two lads walking back from Iceland would be gas right now.
I won't believe it.
Do you know what I mean?
No.
And like now we're not. I was like, we should be here, should be that. And I think social media is a big part of that, because you're always comparing yourself, no matter how much you tell other people not to do it. I mean, I hold my hands up. I'm always doing it. Do you know what I mean? You see these people doing X, Y, Z, or do you know what I mean? And it can be quite, what's the word, detrimental.
I think that's where it's having high standards, like where we want to get to. But then you need to understand, like, we love the process rather than just getting to goal driven. Like when you get to that goal, there's always going to be a next goal. It's going to be fulfilling for like a week or so, but after that's hit, then you're on to the next.
And you've got to have that growth mindset. Because I think we've done it a few times where we've stayed very kind of stagnant, and we've then like gone the other way. So if you're not growing, you're
stagnating.
Really, yeah. So you've just got to have that, which, yeah, I don't know when, like, you've got to also understand that you need to be happy though with where you're at. Because I think you get really bogged down. All right, there's that next to do. Right, okay, well, we're not good then.
It's that fine balance, isn't it, between being comfortable and being happy with where you're at.
Yeah, I think doing things like writing stuff down is probably like one of the ways you can maintain that. But it's definitely something I want to get better at, is reflecting on where we're at, because I think we did our best month in March, but we're really not happy with it at all. Just
remember when you said you hit that milestone, you was like, you probably lost it for about 10 seconds, and it's like,
and everyone else in the team has it as well, which is crazy. Especially like Ollie, like he gets so, he's in it with me every day in terms of the growth side of the business. So if we have a great month, there's still so much that we did wrong, or there was inefficiencies somewhere. But if you'd have told me we did what we did in March, like leaving last year, wouldn't have believed you.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've got to take a moment really to see how far you've come and what you've worked on. But at the same time, if you're not always looking forward, then you're gonna kind of, I guess, have the other effect of that.
Just giving yourself a pat on the back, and then it's like, right, crack on, and it's not too much pat on the back. It's like
a bit, and then go again.
Yeah, 100%.
Celebrating your wins, like within reason, and then go again.
100%.
Rewarding yourself is important, though, isn't it? You know what I mean? What's the point in doing it if you don't enjoy it? We said about like freedom and stuff. Do you know what I mean? So
we'll wrap that up here because it's nearly an hour.
Yeah, sweet. Did we have an ending question or not?
Yeah.
Did we not do? What did we do last time? I think I asked it earlier.
Yeah, you did.
Did I?
What was it?
It was asking from advice for people starting out.
Was it that? Yeah. Yeah, fairs.
Right, well,
fucked it then. That's a tradition. So maybe we can crop it and put it at the end.
Yeah.
Well,
Sound.
Thank you for coming on.
No worries.
Appreciate your time and wisdom.
That's good. That.
Sound.
All right. Hit the like, subscribe button, and see you guys in the next one.
Haha.